Bulare, I am Philip Brown of Nukbalavu Sosavu, a retired Fiji and British Army officer. In 1972, following 2 years at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, England, I was commissioned into the Royal Fiji Military Forces. I completed the British Infantry Young Officers course at the School of Infantry, Warminster, before returning to Fiji. I served as platoon commander, 1st Battalion Fiji Infantry Regiment, Adjutant, 2nd Battalion, Fiji Infantry Regiment, and Staff Officer at Headquarters, Royal Fiji Military Forces. In 1977, I resigned to join the British Army as an officer in the 1st Battalion, the 22nd Cheshire Regiment. I retired from military service in September 1992. My transition from the Fijian to the British Army was greatly facilitated by several factors. First, Fiji was a member of the British Commonwealth. Second, given my military training in England, I was familiar with the organization and modus operandi of the British Army. Third, after national service, Britain struggled to attract recruits. In 1961, 200 men and 12 women from Fiji were recruited into the British Army and served with distinction. Their record helped with my own application. Fourth, between graduating from Sandhurst and my course at Warminster, I was attached to the Cheshire Regiment, who were in West Berlin at the time. They knew me, I knew them, which helped, as they were my preferred regiment. On Fiji's Independence Day, 10th October 1970, my fellow Fijian, the late Alex Eastgate, and I were officer cadets at Sandhurst, and with whom I had many interesting and hilarious experiences there. My principal recollection of that historic day is centered on the commemoration service at Westminster Abbey. Attended by Fijians in diaspora, recruits into the British Army in 1961, students in the country on academic studies, Fijian immigrants to this, their new homeland, but still holding the original close to their hearts, and other national dignitaries, officials, and representatives of foreign countries. The solemn ceremony was tinged with a sense of excitement and anticipation most keenly felt by Fijians, patently conscious that this was a stellar moment of irrecoverable change, the severing of the metaphorical umbilical cord after 96 years of rule, to take our rightful place on the world stage and have an independent, sovereign voice. We were adult. Alex Eastgate had the honor of being in the official party to carry the new flag into the Abbey to be blessed. An unforgettable experience. We considered ourselves fortunate to witness the birth of a new nation in this great city, the seat of British influence. There followed a reception at the Fiji High Commission. Sadly, Alex Eastgate and I were compelled to depart early, given our furlough was drawing to a close. I wish all my fellow Fijians a happy Fiji Day on this, our 50th anniversary. Ningai Vakavegu.
Bulavinaka, Namaste, Noea e Maori. My name is Sapeta Poar. I am from Wainafa, Rutuma. I am a retired trauma theatre nurse and now live in Stoke-on-Trent, United Kingdom. 1970 was a remarkable year for Fiji as it gained its independence. It was a year of excitement, expectations, preparations, changes, and pride. I was in high school and remembered all the excitement of preparing for the 10th of October, the main day of the celebrations. On that day, I went to celebrate at Albert Park as part of the school group. The guest for the celebrations was His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, who represented his mother, Her Majesty, the Queen. When His Royal Highness, Prince Charles, arrived, we had to sit on the wet ground as our way of respect. This always sticks in my mind because the ground was very wet that day. I had three expectations for that day. 1, to see Fiji's flag hoisted. 2, to sing Fiji's own national anthem, Blessings Grant, O God of Nations. And thirdly, to see His Royal Highness, Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales. I was so blessed and thankful to be part of that very special and historic day, the independence of Fiji and Rotuma. During these 50 years of independence, as a developing country, Fiji has its own ups and downs and changes. So I wish Fiji all the very best for the next 50 years. Binaka Bakalevo, Dhanyavad for Yakseya.
Nisambulu Binaka. Namaskar, Noia Maori, and warm greetings to you all. My name is Major Taitusi Saukuru, and I hail from the village of Korobuto in Nandi, and I'm currently a serving member of the British Army. As a serviceman who was born and bred in Fiji, I am truly grateful, and I believe I'm indebted to our forebearers who were instrumental in the cessation of Fiji to Great Britain and its subsequent independence 50 years ago. I think they ensured that all appropriate political and governing instruments were in place for a sovereign nation that has somewhat set the condition that enabled me to be where I am today and who I am today. As a young boy in Fiji, my memories of this momentous occasion are of an independent Fiji, the existence of the Governor General, Her Majesty's representative in Fiji, the picture of Her Majesty the Queen in every Fijian's house, and of course the annual celebration. Commemorating Fiji Day in Fiji, and in Vunda in particular where I grew up, was always about the celebration of people's dedication, commitment to flourish in life, which in turn brings prosperity to the village. It was, and is still to this day, also a celebration of the arrival of Christianity to the Vanua of Vunda, and of course celebrate multiculturalism. Multiculturalism in Fiji was captured well by the then national airline, the Air Pacific slogan, Fiji the way the world should be. As a child, I was always looking forward to the cultural aspects of the celebration. As a village, we spent a few weeks in the run-up to the 10th of October, learning, preparing, and even practicing all the ceremonial protocols and indigenous arts and crafts, including dances. It was also an opportunity to play all the traditional indigenous games. I was always particularly keen in the form of javelin, known as Veidinga, where competitors have to make their own javelin, which comes in various designs. Actually, on reflection today, I'm mostly impressed with the considerable amount of effort by parents, particularly those outside of Fiji, to educate our children about our heritage, which I guess was one of the essence of being an independent state, where we are proud of our culture and our tradition, and yet embracing others. And I think that these are the foundations that has made me rooted and be patriotic to be a Fijian, yet proud to be a serviceman in the UK's armed forces. I do hope and pray that Fiji and Fijians will continue to prosper in years to come. Vinaka Wakalebu, and I wish you all a happy Fiji Day. Vinaka.
Bula Vinaka and Noia Maori. This week, Fiji celebrates 50 years of independence from Great Britain. Marama Alliance UK are so thrilled to be part of this special milestone celebration, and we thank the Fiji High Commission for the opportunity. Marama Alliance UK was formed over a year ago with a single goal of empowering Fijian women here to become agents of change, recognizing the growing diaspora and the challenges that brings. Marama Alliance UK has delivered sessions on immigration, culture and language, and business startups that have been so well received and brought the community together during a pandemic. Marama Alliance UK are so excited to be part of Fiji's history, but also recognizing that we are living in challenging times and that there's so much uncertainty and disruption here in the UK and in Fiji and around the world. It has never been a more important time to work together collaboratively and to pool our resources and share knowledge as much as we can to empower our community here, but also to support our families back in Fiji. Fiji has a rich culture and history and a resilient people that makes Fiji so special. And on that note, we would like to wish the people of Fiji here and around the world and in Fiji a very special 50th Fiji Day celebration. From Marama Alliance UK, God bless Fiji and her people. Mother.
Looking back at Fiji's 50 years of independence, and while growing up in Fiji then, you could sense how vibrant the people were, embracing the new freedom, the freedom of choice and the freedom of expression, accepting the new Fijian government replacing the old British colonial government. And that same freedom, it's on the lyrics of the Fiji national anthem, which says, "Defend the cost of freedom ever." And that same freedom, over 20 years ago, me and 1,000 others, Fijians took the step to join Her Majesty's forces, moving our families over, putting them through the British educational system, integrating with the local communities, and yet we still identify ourselves as Fijians. And looking back over 50 years, seeing how progress and how far we have come from being colonized to a more developed country, and I stand proud to be called Fijian even today. Nak.
Your Excellency and friends, we wish Fiji and all its peoples a magnificent 50th anniversary. We look forward with confidence to the next 50 years of peace, stability, economic progress, and a self-assured nation. The Republic of Fiji has come a long way, and if the last couple of decades under its imaginative new leadership is any indication of the future, then I'm well satisfied that a more settled and confident nation will emerge to light the path for other nations and peoples to emulate. I'm confident in the future, in the Itoke and all peoples who are fortunate to be a part of these blessed isles. My confidence in Itoke has a beginning. During 1940s, when we were growing up in Vudi Rewa, we frequently visited our grandmother's Nani's house in Vudi Road, where I was born. Opposite this house was the Fijian primary school, and the teachers visited my grandmother often. But one lady was special. I called her Auntie Anna. She was close to my mother. They were like sisters. Mum spoke the language like she was born into it. Auntie Anna was part of the household. She was there for births, including mine, marriages, religious and social occasions. She needed no invitation, and as she spoke Hindustani, she knew who was coming, what was being planned, what was happening. She was there. She needed no invitation. She was family. She loved us, and we were one family. I'm confident that those feelings of attachment, bond, companionship and comradeship still exist today and has not diminished as some might think, even fewer might hope. In Suva, we were practicing accountants with our office in Carnarvon Building, Carnarvon Street, which father built in 1952. We arrived in London in late 60s, and after studying at the London University, I settled down to a life in investment and finance in 1970s. After about 40 years as an independent financial advisor, I retired in 2010. I live with my wife in a London suburb and have two sons. One took mathematics and the other law. The younger son is married to a Portuguese lady who works in the medical field in a London hospital. Recently, I initiated a free financial awareness seminars organized with the help of Fiji High Commission London. I held a couple of sessions there and gave a talk to the Fijian ladies group under the auspices of the Communities Fiji Britain charity to stress the importance of savings for the future, how to organize and discipline one's life to acquire not just the basic necessities of life, but to acquire that freedom to enjoy those elusive luxuries and to give our offspring a good start in life for their future financial security. The present matters, but the future is more important. These seminars, talks, or discussions on a one-to-one basis are important for anyone living in this country. Investment opportunities available here in this world hub of finance is exceptional. I hope that we can resume this important feature as soon as the pandemic clears. In addition, I have been actively involved in our community in London over the last 30 years and have worked to bring a degree of togetherness amongst the diaspora. A time to meet old friends and reminisce of the old days in Fiji and make new friends. We have the best of both worlds here. Finally, the young Fijian undergraduates with vigor and talent have a huge role to play in Fiji's future progress. With government's creative planning and foresight, they will perform the miracle of Fiji's development. We expect their imagination to work overtime and design and consolidate their plans to serve the country in positive ways to benefit their lives and those of future generations. Fiji's stature, despite our hiccups, is huge, and it has so much to give to the world, showing that peace and prosperity through cooperation, unity and compromise can be achieved. God bless Fiji.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, and all those joining us from near and far, Bulavinaka to you all. I convey my warmest greetings to you all, particularly to all Fijians in the United Kingdom, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of our independence. We can all be proud that our Independence Day here in the UK has continuously been marked and celebrated with great vigor and enthusiasm over the past years. This year, however, what was initially envisioned to see the staging of a milestone celebration of a historical event has been greatly influenced by this global pandemic, one of, if not, the biggest crisis of our generation. A pandemic that has claimed over 1 million lives globally, and I would like to take this opportunity to remember those who have lost their lives to COVID-19, Fijians, British, and others. I would also like to recognize and offer my sincere appreciation to all the brave health workers and first responders who have worked tirelessly on the front lines during these difficult times. Fiji salutes you all. The historical ties and relationship we share with the United Kingdom is fondly remembered. That revered history includes the sacrifice of many who fought and resisted in World War I and World War II. Both of our countries know the huge cost of war and therefore the great price of peace. Our military relationship and exchanges has not only deepened our engagement and the mutual respect between our countries, but it has more importantly ensured the peace and security of many, many nations around the world. The Fiji High Commission in London opened shortly after Fiji's independence, which speaks great volume of the important and the significant relationship we share with the United Kingdom. Our traditional relations have been cemented through various sectors, but primarily through our defense cooperation, which has seen our defense forces in Fiji benefit through various exchange programs. Likewise, numerous Fijian nationals have been privileged to serve in Her Majesty's Armed Forces over the last 50 years. On the multilateral front, we wish to acknowledge the continuous support of the United Kingdom towards the implementation of our global commitments in the area of gender equality, human rights, security, trade and environment, to name a few. We have worked closely with the United Kingdom in the area of climate change and acknowledge the unwavering assistance of the UK to the Pacific region, particularly small states, through the UK support and commitment towards the Climate Finance Fund and the establishment of the Regional Pacific Nationally Determined Contribution Hub in the Pacific. We have collaborated on issues in relation to the protection of our ocean and marine. We acknowledge and support the UK's 30 by 30 pledge to protect 30% of the ocean by 2030. We acknowledge the profound exchanges between our two countries in the area of education and offer our congratulations on the 30th anniversary of the Sibling Scholarship to be celebrated tomorrow on October 11th. The Sibling Scholarship has, through the years, provided Fijians the opportunity to travel to the United Kingdom to not only further their academic qualifications, but to also experience all that the UK has to offer. We acknowledge the cooperation we have had in the area of sports, with numerous Fijians contracted to play in the United Kingdom for various sporting clubs. Fiji, through the High Commission here in the United Kingdom, wish to acknowledge the support continuously rendered by our remarkable colleagues at the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, as well as the various government departments and line agencies that we work with on a day-to-day basis. The diplomatic police that ensure our safety year in and year out, and the many non-governmental bodies, civil society, private sector, partners and friends who we work with and support us daily. Our utmost gratitude as well to the diverse Fijian diaspora here in the UK for their continued support and partnership with my office and team here at the High Commission. Whilst acknowledging all that has transpired between our two nations over the past 50 years, Fiji looks forward to deepening and diversifying our relations into the future. Her Majesty, the Queen, the Government of the United Kingdom, stakeholders, partners and friends, thank you for being part of this celebration. May God bless Fiji, may God bless the United Kingdom, and may God bless us all. Nakabaka Lebu, and happy Independence Day.
Let me end with a thought and a prayer. I will use the first line of our national anthem as a reference in this short reflection. I quote, "Blessing grant, O God of nations, on the Isles of Fiji." End the quote. To me, this is a profound prayer that was weaved in our national anthem to be sung on our first Independence Day celebration, and it remained ever since. It affirms the fact that there is no guaranteed security for our beloved nation of Fiji in this life except our faith in God because of His divine power, wisdom, and grace. God is the God of all nations. This is a confession of faith whenever we sing it with one voice to God. Our sense of identity, spirit of nationhood, and a beacon of hope shines brighter for our generations and the generations to come. We, the diaspora Fijian community in UK, are so blessed to share such a common heritage. We still cherish our faith, our morals and values that has made us unique in the eyes of many people in this foreign land. The cheerfulness, joy, and colorful spirit of the Fijian people are priceless and second to none. Obviously, these are fruits of God's blessings. Let us pray. Gracious God, the Creator of all things, may this Fiji's 50th Independence Day celebration be a time of praise and thanksgiving to you, our God, because you never sleep nor slumber. We ask you to bless our leaders and our people with wisdom, courage, and determination. Hear our prayer we offer to you. In the name of the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.